Good morning. So, we are up. It is 5 a.m. So, 5 a.m. and we are going to feed my sourdough starter. So, I started Dolene last December. She's a good starter. She is very bubbly, very active, but she has been in hibernation. She's been in the fridge for about 8 months, no, 7 months, with only the occasional use. Okay. She was fed yesterday, and I'm just going to show you how we feed Dolene. So I empty the jar until, let's have a look. So the way I empty a jar is I get a big towel, a paper towel, and I scrape it onto the paper towel, unless I'm using a discard recipe. The reason it is most people empty it into their sink and you're going to ruin your plumbing. So yeah, do it into a paper towel. It is the cleanest way that I have found by far without blocking your sink up. And usually when I get baking a lot, I do it only to scrapings. I use the scrapings method, but this time around she's still quite young. She needs a little bit more energy still. So there's about that much left, about to there. And all we're going to do is we're going to use a stiff starter. I don't weigh it. People are going to hate on me for that. I use extra strong bread flour. I use the bread flour that I use in the actual bread. And I just eyeball it. And then I always add a little bit of rye flour, not a lot. And then I have warm water. And I add very little bit at a time until I have a thick texture. And if I put too much water in, then I add more flour. You have to make sure that you scrape off all the old starter, give it a good mix. And don't worry too much about it. You're not going to cook. If you've got a good starter, which the only way to get a good starter is to carry on feeding it, is to keep going. Maybe, you know, one time you can add, if you have a weak starter, get some rye flour, do an entirely rye feed, you'll be fine. This is by far the easiest way to do a sourdough starter. Little tip for the summer in the UK. So you can't really tighten your lid when you are doing your sourdough starter. But at the moment, there are fruit flies everywhere. And if your lid isn't tight enough, you will get flies in your starter, which will be devastating. That's the solution. Shower caps off Amazon. I bought one pack of like 250 a year and a half ago. I used them for all of my baking and I've still not run out, and I use them like this. You can use them a few times over and that will stop flies getting in without you having to tighten your lid to the point where your starter explodes.